What's going on, guys? This is Pikachu OTC from Simple Trade. Welcome to another weekly review, which I will be talking about some runners from the past week. And if you recall from the previous week, we said that the swing stocks are getting hotter and hotter and they pay off even better. Well, this past week we are seeing the same trend. Before we begin, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the future videos. And let's get right into it. The first stock of this weekly review is ICNM. ICNM is a pink current information stock under IFXY Capital Custodian's stocks. The stock ran 126% in 2 days only, and you can see right here that there was quite a volume 3 days before this huge breakout and huge green candle. So maybe people knew about what's coming, and right here on March 11th, IFXY Capital tweeted the following: ICNM, the company, has signed an LOI with David Chong and a company he represents. We are excited to work towards closing this deal as quickly as possible and seeing shareholder value grow. We expect to issue a formal PR next week. So that tweet alone got this massive volume to come in, 800 million in 1 day. That's over $1 million of trading in 1 day for ICNM, which means the liquidity here was very, very high. You could have made a lot of money. And guess what? It closed on the high of the day, 0016. And as we head towards Monday, it'll be interesting to see the possibly continuation of this rise. And if you're not familiar with David Chong, he is the one who was in charge of ICOA, who took it from the trips to almost 3 penny. He was also in charge of AAPT, which was also at the trips, and got it to around 3.5 pennies. And he was also in charge of MJWL, who was, you guessed it correctly, also started at the trips and ended up around 23 to 24 cents, which is absolutely insane overrun. So right now we have ICNM, who is also at the trips and right now closed at the low dubs at the 0016th. The only difference between those company and ICNM is that the ICNM float is much higher. We are talking about around 10 billion of a float, so you will need massive volume to get to these kind of prices such as AAPT and MJWL. But this is absolutely fresh story, and it will be super interesting to see what this stock brings as we head into this week. Let's move on to the next stock of this weekly review, and that stock is IFXY. IFXY ran about 85% in 1 week and actually about 80% in only 3 days, and that's due to a following tweet. But before I'll show you the tweet, you should know that IFXY is also a pink current information stock. It is a shell company with a 2 billion float, and it is a custodianship stock by Carissa Management. The stock was alerted multiple times on our Discord channel at the prices of 0028 to 0030, and it was alerted before the run. On March 11th, pre-market, the company tweeted, OTC markets and SOS updates will be submitted today, confirming a change of control and a new president. It's safe to say revenues for the first company coming is easily surpass our current market cap, a major win for IFXY shareholders. So let's see what we have over here. We are talking about change in control and new president, meaning this is a merger. They say it's safe to say revenues for the first company, meaning that there might be a second and third company, otherwise they wouldn't say first. So the revenues for the first company coming in easily surpass their current market cap. Now the market cap, as they tweeted that tweet, was around $18 million. So we're talking about a company with revenues over $18 million a year, and they surpass it easily. So we have a lot of things coming in IFXY future, and that is the reason that the stock gapped up and ran with a lot of volume, 176 million volume in 1 day, closed pretty high at the 0049, and there is much more to expect from IFXY. So keep your eyes out for this stock in the following week, as we should see the change in control and maybe understand and find out what this company is. The next stock we'll talk about is another Carissa Management Custodianship stock with a very similar story, and that stock is SNRY. SNRY ran about 40% in a couple of days, and it has much less exposure than IFXY. However, it is very similar. It is a pink current information stock with the shell sign, a custodianship under Carissa Management. The only difference is right here, the float. The float of the company is around 1.5 billion, so it is lighter than IFXY, meaning that it can move up much more easily with the volume coming in. The reason there was much more volume on Friday is because SNRY tweeted the following: final walkthrough of our Texas-based SNRY merger has been completed. Incoming company has been in business for 6+ years. Pre-existing revenue are higher than the current market cap, with plans to aggressively roll up additional acquisitions. We'll report more next week. Be well. So just like IFXY, we will have multiple things in this tweet. They're saying that the merger has been completed. The incoming company is already in business. They have revenues that are higher than the current market cap, and they have plans to roll up additional acquisitions. So by that tweet alone, you can assume that SNRY is currently undervalued. We will have to wait for the next week to understand what will be their next report. We will need to see the LOI or the merger news to understand what kind of company that is in what sector, to analyze and see if this is in fact undervalued. But one thing that I can tell you for a fact, that if this merger will be a big merger, that stock can run very, very, very hard with little volume. And to show you that on the chart, let's go back a little bit, and you can see right here around June what happened when a lot of volume coming in. The stock went up from the low dubs, the 0020, all the way up to 0067, about 200% in only 2 to 3 days. And you can also see that the stock was almost at the 2 penny mark, meaning that it has a lot of room to go up. However, if the merger will not be as satisfying as the tweet, the stock might not move at all. So as always, manage your risks properly. I will be looking at SNRY this week to see the next update. Let's move on to the next stock, and that stock is TONR. TONR company was reviewed back in the past on our channel, but ever since the recent review, there has been some major changes. The first thing that you can see is the stock price went down almost on a daily basis, all the way down to the trips, and that was due to lack of communication from the CEO of the company. And ever since March 4th, the company is on an uptrend with 280% of a run, with very high liquidity in that rally. And the reason for that is the following. First, you can see that the previous CEO tweeted on March 3rd, last night, the CEO and president of TONR resigned from this position. The previous president and CEO, Mrs. Corinda Joanne Melton, has retaken the helm. Mr. Arinza wishes TONR, all the shareholders and stakeholders, the best going forward. Now, if we're talking about what the previous management did to TONR, this is a bad news, because the previous management diluted a lot of shares, and that was not to raise capital, that was just toxic dilution to make money on the heads of the shareholders. That's why when that tweet was out on March 3rd, there was not a lot of volume and the price action did not move almost at all. But 3 days later, after the weekend was over, TONR current management tweeted, and you won't be able to find that tweet because they actually deleted that tweet, which is very weird. But they tweeted that there will be a formal PR about the new business and management and expectation for the future on March 7th. And if we go into the 15-minute candle chart, you can even see it right here at the opening. Massive volume came in, got the stock price to go very, very, very high. and you can see that it started all the way from the opening, and we will try to find out at what time the news was released. So let's get back to the Twitter page, and we can see that they tweeted news out, and if you go into the tweet itself, you can see March 7th 5:07 p.m. That's on my time zone. Basically that is 10:07, and that's about 37 minutes after the market opened. So you can see that there was a lot of buying power over the first 30 minutes, and only then they published the news. The news itself says about the present and new leadership and what is their growth plan over the next few years in the digital commerce driven business model. And you can see that they're talking about crypto, NFT, and metaverse. Overall, very good sectors in the OTC, and overall, if you're talking about the future. So the news was actually pretty decent, and they also tweeted a day before the TONR promise shareholders real news, no fluff and stuff, no excuses. We deliver on time every time, consistent communication on their Discord channel, and honesty and transparency always. So it looks much more promising than the previous management, and they are very active on their Twitter page. You can also see that they tweeted, "We understand some of the cautious optimism based on recent messaging by previous management, and we promise you this: we will never tweet or post anything to hype up anyone. If we can deliver it, we won't say it. If we say it, consider it done. Sincerely, TONR." And they are very, very active on their Twitter page, so make sure to give them a follow. You never know what their next tweet is going to be. And ever since that news and some more updates on their Twitter account, the stock continued its run all the way up to the 0039 with a 281% of a run. Absolutely beautiful. This might not be the end for TONR, so keep your eyes out for that stock. And that is it about this weekly review. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to drop a like, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button. You already know what to do. And if you're not on our Discord channel yet, make sure to go to the description and join our community, because we bring pure value. We call out plays before they run. We called out ICNM the second that the tweet was out. We called out IFXY before the run. We called out SNRY before the run that might not even started. We called out TONR and the actually odd action that was there due to the tweet that they deleted. And we basically bring you the best of the best. So if you're not in, go and join now. I wish you all a green and a profitable week.